In breaking news, FBI Director Kash Patel now confirms that he is already in custody, now without supervision. The shooter of Charlie Kirk is already in custody, and obviously we will have to stay alert to this situation. According to what Kash Patel's tweet says, the FBI director says the following. The individual from today's terrible shooting that took the life of Charlie Kirk is in custody. Thanks to the local and state authorities in Utah for their cooperation with the FBI. We will provide updates when possible. Well, for now, they haven't given a name or a photo, but what's interesting is that he would be, well, in custody, right? Well, let's see what happens, right? Let's see what happens. But yes, it's already official, isn't it? Now, the suspect is officially in custody, right? So, let's go. Let's see, let's stay alert. Let's see if they mention who this person is, right? That will be super important. So, let's see, let's find out. This is the image of the employment figure, I think it says. Trump fired the Bureau of Labor Statistics director after last month's poor employment figures. Well, this month the report was just as horrible. The economy. Well, I mean, they just throw out the numbers. They're the numbers, right? The one that wasn't 2 weeks ago was last week, I think. Where are they firing people? The doctor in charge is a doctor specialized in statistics. Not a medical doctor, no, but a doctor with a lot of experience. She had worked with Republicans and Democrats her whole life. Trump fired her because he didn't like the issue about jobs. Let's see what she says. Well, Representative Ted Louis, basically, what he's saying is to run, not to run. Representative Ted Louis. What he's saying is that the employment numbers are just as bad this month as they were last month. And, well, yes, I mean, in the end, the math, no matter how many people you change one after another, can't give you false numbers. Could it be illegal enough to send them to jail? So it doesn't matter who you put there. You have to acknowledge it. He's there, right? That the numbers are wrong, and well, that's just how it is, right? Well, that's how it is. That's the situation. Besides inflation, another issue that people don't like, and if they wanted to lower interest rates, now it's impossible. When inflation starts to show up, you can't lower the interest rate. It's something that's going to make this Trump, the President of the United States, very angry. So, well, that's the situation, right? In the meantime, while it's happening, they're reporting over there in Nepal. They're proposing that a former rapper, who is no longer a rapper, but who was a rapper at one point, this gentleman, I'll review his biography later to learn more. He's the candidate they're suggesting for president of Nepal. Let's see what happens. This one, but clearly they want something different, at least not the same as always. It's really something, honestly. Well, these are some of the last images of this guy, of this young man, Tremendo. You wouldn't think that just a few minutes later he would lose his life in such a violent way, right? Really shocking, isn't it? Definitely, it's a topic that will be one of the most important this week, especially because it's a very hot topic. And since there's already a tremendous polarization at the extremes, especially over there in the United States, this polarization could obviously get even worse. Let's move on to other important matters. Is this potential being updated? The potential hurricane cyclone over Mexico along the Pacific coast already has a 90% chance of forming. It's a disturbance we've been tracking. The disturbance has a 90% chance of becoming a hurricane, making it very likely. We need to stay alert in the coming days in case a new disturbance develops. This is in the Atlantic, still far away, with only about a 20% chance of becoming a hurricane. But it's the only disturbance on the Atlantic side. So, Salo, let's keep an eye on this probability as well, right? Even without hurricanes or anything like that, there have still been problems, floods, and all sorts of things on this side of the world, right? Well, also something I owed you all. Let's move on to other matters. There is currently a report being published about how Ukrainian hackers are turning Russian security cameras into guidance systems for missile attacks. According to the report, Ukrainian forces have discovered a huge concentration of Russian troops by hacking into security camera networks near Russian bases. In other words, they get into the cameras and detect and see exactly where the bases are located, and this has been helping them to carry out attacks. In the latest Russian advance in Dobropilya, these Russian advance ended in disaster, because the Ukrainians were seeing exactly where they were going, where they were gathering, and the Ukrainians attacked them, which made the Russians retreat. Now, the Kremlin is trying to make another move again. You can see it on this map if we can put it on full screen. There it is. Look, I'm going to try to make it smaller. There it is, right there. You can see the first movement they're trying to make with this red line showing a Russian advance, and the Ukrainians are watching all this movement. When they're already advanced, Ukraine comes from behind and starts attacking the Russian positions, obviously leaving them in a mess. Now take a look at this other map. It's a similar situation currently being attempted. Now they want to come in from another side, and Ukraine is watching them again through drones, through hacked cameras. There's one of the hacked cameras where the Ukrainians can see what's happening inside the Russian bases. This gives information to the Ukrainian forces, live visual details on Russian convoy routes, timing, and peak activity hours without depending on satellite or drone surveillance. In the end, it's also a war of knowledge, right? It's about agility to see who hacks the other first. And well, sometimes one side gets hacked, sometimes the other side gets hacked. Right now, well, even the Ukrainians got involved, but obviously they're constantly having these kinds of back and forths, not really moving. Well, let's go to the comments by state. Greetings, very good, says Cypress. In Querétaro, over 100. Hey, how's it going? Things are already clear there. About the rains and everything, it's alright, right? It's been pretty intense, hasn't it? The issue of how it has affected, how it has caused problems, the issue of the rains, this... I was seeing what Governor Curry has been saying about it. I see him as a bit discouraged, so to speak. I don't know what you all think, says Jose Francisco, but it's really cool. That's what we're going to be talking about over there. Greetings, Blanca Adelson, Eric Gomez, how have you been? Greetings to you too, Miguel, what's up? How have you been? Big shout out to Alejandro Avellano, Gabriel M. G, how are you? What's up, Juan Carlos? Choca says, was it a civilian or the truck? They only sent me the image at first, with no explanation about what it was. So, a gas tanker truck crashed and exploded in Mexico City. It's really spectacular. Obviously, these aren't images you can just show, but it was really tough. Also, it's in the area of the second level where you see a lot of really high drops. I wonder, is it there? Could it be part of the second level? Civil to the Mars images, Limon, how are you? Greetings, Alejandro Arellano, Gabriel Martinale. Who else is around? Hey, Miguel Adan, how are you? Greetings to Spain, right? Greetings as well. Hey, who else is around? He says. No death can be justified, otherwise definitely that. The issue of violence is serious. Miguel Alejandro, who else is here? Greetings to Daniel too. You're not going. How have you been? There was an explosion in Santa Marta. Hey. That's near the second floor of the A key. Do I have something to share? The topic feels heavy, huh? I saw that they started to post it. They sent it to me first via Facebook, no, and then I saw this one. Let's see if it says where it is. No, it's just that this is really tough. No, it's really tough. No, there's no way to put it around here, huh? Sensitive images, let's say. We won't see them if we post them on Telegram. Anyway, what else is out there? He says, remember when there were no water reserves, and now look at the situation? And Miguel, is there enough water in Querétaro now? I assume so, like what happened here. Do you remember that it was, 2 years ago, right? And that we were basically out of water, day by day, right? In some cases, and now, well, it's getting better. We've been doing pretty well. No, not the rain. There are signs everywhere here about saving water, right? Whatever it is. Or was it also partly because there was work done, like building more dams and things like that, or making more, let's say, adaptations and all that stuff? But in the end, it was the rain that saved everything, right? And how has Ramon been? Greetings to Los Angeles. The California community here is one of our largest. From there, from Northern California all the way to the south to San Diego. Thank you. Rain always says it's a blessing and relief regardless of circumstances. Well, yes, the truth is that sometimes with bad management and poor prevention, sudden events can cause major problems and tragedies, right? Let's just say. But well, water is something to be grateful for indeed. Although it can also cause problems sometimes, I feel that we ourselves cause them at least a good part of the time, right? They had to release water from the dams and suspended the water service for the safety of the pumps. Imagine that. Now they have plenty of water, maybe even too much. Definitely, that's great. That's awesome on that side. And well, the rainy season is just starting. So, well, the Utah attack, and it seems like a message to Trump. Nova says, how are you? Nova, great to see you. He says, how's it going, Caparaz? How are you, Alex Flores? What happened to this guy is really shocking. Honestly, it's shocking. All right, let's go. No, let's go later. I'll return with more. We're back with more info. I'm here.